Hi, it's little Lisa. So today I'm going to show you how I make my preserved lemons. I've been doing this for many years. I don't even know how many years. It's citrus season in the winter here. I'm in Michigan. We don't have local citrus, so I ordered organic Meyer lemons online. And Meyer lemons are the traditional ones that you preserve, although you can use regular lemons. They're just not quite the same texture and flavor. A Meyer lemon is from China. They think it originated in China anyway. And it's basically like a cross between a lemon and a mandarin orange. So it's got a real thin, fragrant skin, and it has like a little less bitterness, tartness to it, a little more like orange flavor, slight little orange flavor added to it. But they're really yummy, and I preserve them every year, and then I have them in my fridge, and I use them for various recipes, like my roast lamb that you will see after this. So anyway, it's super easy to do this, so I just kind of wanted to show you. But I basically cut off the very edge of the lemon like that, and then I cut down not all the way to the bottom. You want to leave them like attached at the bottom, but into quarters, and they smell very good. And then you kind of open it up, and you stick about a teaspoon of salt. And I'm using a kosher salt, flake salt that is from Real Salt, Redmond Real Salt. It's like a sea salt, but it's the kosher flake. Um, but you could pretty much use any salt, kosher or sea salt would probably work. Anyway, I put about a teaspoon in there. Then you kind of just mash it around inside the lemon. It's going to make it nice and juicy. And then you just kind of push them into the jar until your jar is filled up. I like to take the little stem end off just because then it's not in there when I go to use them. Doesn't matter which end you cut off, just one of them. So you just keep doing that. And just open it up and stick some salt in there. Just kind of want to push it in there as much as you can. You want to get that juice out of there anyway, so it's no big deal if you push on it and juice comes squirting out. Some of these were from a farmer on Etsy. I don't personally know him or anything. Um, but they're actually really nice lemons, and but they're all different sizes. And he grows them like in a organic method. I don't think he's certified, but he was very nice when I messaged him and discussed it. Anyway, so this is just pretty much all you do. So I got a like medium-sized flat rate shipping box full of these when I ordered them. Obviously, I don't really need to use that many as preserved lemons because we don't use them that often. So I'm going to also be making at some point in the very near future some Meyer lemon marmalade. I used to, in the past, I've gotten them at Whole Foods. They usually have them in this time of year organic. They only had conventional this year. I kept checking and checking, and they were only carrying conventional Meyer lemons. So I went ahead and just ordered online because I prefer organic. So however many you can fit in your jar. These are nice and juicy. All right, I'll probably can fit a couple more. This one's really small. So I might be able to do maybe 3 more. But sometimes the peel peels off because they have a real thin skin. But if you can see inside, they're like almost like a orangey color. So they're definitely a cross between a type of orange and a lemon. They have like what I would almost call like a floral smell. They're quite unique and very yummy. All right, I think I can get at least. think I can get one more, like, smaller one. I'll try this one. Okay. Let's see if I can push this right on there. Well, if it tears apart, it tears apart. Sometimes you can't help it. So that looks pretty full. I'm going to add, I usually add a little bit of salt in between the layers, but I didn't do that this time. So I'm just going to add a little extra at the top. And when I put the liquid in, it'll all mix up. Okay, that's probably good. All right, so now the next step is to make sure you have lemon juice. And if you can see, there's only about that much that pushed out. I mean, I didn't push on all of them completely in there, but I want to fill it up. So the rest, some more of these, I'm going to just juice them and pour it in there. And these are pretty soft lemons, so I don't really need to push on them like you do a regular lemon. Oh, that one doesn't want to. There we go. All right, so we will pour this in and see where we're at. Yeah, I'll probably need the rest of these. So I'll put all these lemon peels out in my compost bin, even though it's winter here, so that in the spring, stuff will all break down and give me some nice compost for my garden. Let's see, that might be. Yep, you just want to make sure the lemons are covered in the liquid. So that is actually perfect. So we are good to go with that. I'm going to rinse my hands off real quick. Then I'm going to put the lid on. And you just kind of shake it around and get that salt all mixed in there. The lemon juice will break down the salt and it will ferment the lemons. Now, these you don't leave out like you do other ferments. They go right in the refrigerator, and anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, generally, I check them, and they should be, you'll see that the liquid has become more syrupy, and the lemons sort of get a less bright color, and they're very soft. So you can usually tell when they're ready. Um, but I'd check them after like 4 weeks. It could take 6 to 8, depends. I mean, you're in the cold. So here's my older jar. And as you can see, they take on a different color and the liquid is quite syrupy. But they have like a real soft texture and you can just pull them out. And you can, if you want to, you can take the flesh off and just use the rind in a recipe, or you can use the whole thing. I'll show you in the end of this video how I make my roasted lamb, where I put preserved lemons and olives around it. So that's all there is to it. See you later. Bye. Hi, it's Little Lisa. So this recipe is going to be for a roasted leg of lamb using the preserved lemons that we talked about previously in another video. So um, I have a bone-in small leg of lamb that was from the lamb we get from a local farmer. And because it's bone-in, I can't really stuff the inside. So I cut a little pocket just to shove some of the seasoning into so that it'll be nice and flavored inside and outside. If you have a boneless leg of lamb, like the kind that come in the net bag, just cut the net bag off, unroll the lamb and smear it on the inside, then roll it back up and tie it together to make it. So that's how you would do it if you have like a boneless leg of lamb. So I'm going to get started with this. It's pretty simple. You want your oven to be set at 400 degrees. You need some kind of roasting pan. And I have of almost not quite 3 tablespoons. It's about 2.5 tablespoons of a lamb seasoning mix that I put together, and it's basically 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, a teaspoon and a half of dried rosemary, a teaspoon of dried mint, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of paprika, and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. And I just kind of whizzed them together in a coffee spice grinder. And then I'm going to mix with that a couple tablespoons of minced garlic. Get it all out of there. And then we're going to add to that a couple tablespoons of Dijon mustard. We have some organic Dijon mustard here. And I'm just, instead of measuring it with a spoon, I'm just going to squeeze it in there until it looks about right. It's about 1 tablespoon. It's about 2. It can be more or less for if you like mustard or not. So then I will need, and I forgot to grab it, some pepper and salt. We'll just grab those real quick. I'm going to add probably about a teaspoon worth of pepper, or half a teaspoon, I mean. Well, that's not coming out good. I'm just going to go, okay. Oops. Well, no, more like a teaspoon. But we like pepper, so that's okay. And then I'll add about a teaspoon of salt. Heaping teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to mix that up. And I'm going to put the majority of it in here. I just made like a little pocket in here. If I had the boneless, I would just smear this all on the inside of the meat. Then you can kind of spread it around the outer part of the meat. And around the top. I'm going to add just a tad bit more mustard to the part I put on the top. There we go. Just want it a little bit looser to spread on the top. And if it seems like it's too much, you don't have to use it all, but should work just fine. This is a really small leg of lamb. Usually ours are more like 4 or 5 pounds. This one's probably only a couple pounds, so I probably don't need quite this much. Okay. Okay, then what we do is I have a mixture of Greek olives. These ones are pitted. I don't need the liquid so much, so I'm going to dump some of that off. Whoops. I'm just going to put the Now, you can use like if you just have like olives in a container, you could use about a cup of them. Since I have a package that came from Whole Foods, I'm just going to use the whole package just for sake of making life easier. And I just spread them around. And then I'm just going to dump this out real quick. And then you put a cup and a half of white wine. And actually, since this is such a small lamb, I'm just going to do a cup and a quarter for now. And then the preserved lemons. So these are the ones that I made previously. And I'm just going to take the quarter. They tend to break up, so you find quarters. So I'm going to take like half of a lemon, since this is a small lamb. If it's a big lamb, you could probably even use a whole one. And I'm just going to slice it up into little pieces. It's very soft. And then just sprinkle it around. There we go. And that's all there is to it. Then you just pop it in the oven at 400 degrees and roast it till it is finished, which will probably only take an hour for this because it's small. If it was a bigger, like if normally I have about a 4 to 5 pound roast and I do it for like an hour and 15 minutes. So this one I'd probably do because there's a bone in it as well. I'll probably check on it at 45 minutes, but it'll probably take like an hour since there's a bone in it. So that's all there is to it, and it comes out deliciously lovely. I will show it to you when it's finished.